Hi, and welcome to week 2 of Weave Along 36. This is the part where we start weaving. Yay. There are 2 parts on weaving, and then the last one's finishing. After this little intro, I'm going to be showing you some techniques that I video. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think you will enjoy it. But the PDF is all-inclusive and shows everything to do with this piece. This is how far we will get in week 1. And week 2, we will go to the top. Please post your photos on social media. We'd love to see what people are doing. Please, please, please. And feel free to ask me questions anytime. I'm waiting for your questions. I don't want you to get frustrated about anything. So I will be here. Enjoy. I am going to be showing you how to weave the shapes that are in the diamond tapestry weave along. That will include a diamond, a diagonal, and a triangle. We're going to start with a triangle. I've already woven the first half pass. It's covering 11 warps. You see I stuck the tail into the back. Never want our tails coming out to the front. And I'm going to weave back to the tail. We are going to be weaving 2 full passes. This is 1 full pass. I've gone over every other thread, the odd ones and the even ones, and that makes essentially a full line. See that? I'm going to be wrapping around the edge warps 2 times before I decrease. This is a decreasing shape. Decreasing shapes have to be built before you build increasing shapes. Now I'm going to wrap around the selvage warp twice and head back here. Now see it's okay. Now let me show you what you don't want to do. You don't want to have a baggy loop here because that would be ugly. And you don't want it too tight because that will distort it. You want it to be just right. So here we've wrapped around it twice, and here we've wrapped around it twice. And so we are now going over 1 warp, decreasing by 1 warp on either side. There we go. Back again. Now, because these shapes are so small, and there'll be quite a few of them going across, you don't really have to worry about bubbling. The only time you have to worry about bubbling in this piece is if you're weaving on a classic Murex loom and you're doing a header, and we show you how to do that in the instructions. So we're up 2, we decrease by 1. The reason for bubbling is if you don't bubble when you're going longer distances, you won't have enough weft in your weaving. And what will happen is when you weave the next line after a first line, if you haven't bubbled it, if you just do a straight line, it will pull in at the selvages because it won't have enough weft in there, and it has to find it somewhere. But because we're weaving several small shapes, we already have a lot of extra weft. We have the weft that goes around here, that's extra, and then we have these slit joints. So a piece like this makes it much easier to not pull in at the edges, which is the primary mistake newbie tapestry weavers make. And it's very frustrating. We've woven a piece you like, and then you find that the selvages are not straight. Unless you want them to be in something like wedge weave, but this is not wedge weave, and we want our selvages to be as straight and pretty and neat as possible. I like it to be perfect, never is, of course. I'm not a perfect person, but with tapestry, yeah, you want to you want to make sure certain things do happen correctly. And having straight selvages is a very important goal. So now we're down to our final 3. See, 2, 2. And now we just have to wrap around that final warp. And there we go. And we have our perfect little triangle of 11 warps wide that comes to a sweet little point. Next, I'm going to show you how to weave a diagonal line. I have inserted my weft here. It is going to cover 3 warps and the tail is to the back. And just like with the triangle, I'm going to be advancing 2 full passes at a time. That's 1 full pass. This is 1 full pass and 1 half pass. And I've wrapped around here twice, and now I'm going to wrap around this twice. I'm going to get all tangled up there, and see, there you go. Now it's time to move over. We're going to follow the triangle up, always making sure that we go around the edge warps twice. Take twice, we got it right. Yeah. I love the way these pieces fit together. I am a puzzle person. I love puzzles. This is something so satisfying when shapes fit together. Okay, so here we go. I don't like that one there. I think it's a little baggy. There we go. Make it a little better. There we go. There we go. Okay. Make sure you're covering those edge warps twice. Push that down. See, we're getting a nice little diagonal line there. Remember to be careful and count. Make sure those loops are good. And then I'm going to, okay, now I'm traveling up the last bit of the triangle. See, there are 2 there and 2 there. But I want to end this, oops, ooh, crazy time. I want to end this diagonal on a point as well. Well, I can't end it in a point. I can end it in a, by going around 2 warps. I can't on a single. Because we have an even number of warps when you add them together. So this is how I'm going to end it. There you go. You have to make those decisions. These puzzle pieces, because sometimes you end with 2 and sometimes you end with 1, will not fit exactly together, but they're wool, it's wool and it's squishy, and you can kind of mold things a little bit. So that's your triangle and your diagonal. Next, I want to weave a diamond, but as I told you before, you have to create decreasing shapes before increasing shapes. And if I just stuck a diamond here, it would be fine on this side, but on this side, it would be covering up empty warps. So I'm not going to have to weave a triangle on the right so I can shove the diamond in the middle. I'm going to leave 1 warp in the middle there, and I am going to weave an odd number of warps so that we come to a point. Did I do that right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I did it right. I always check myself because even after weaving for decades, I make mistakes still. So remember, we're going to be going up 2 at a time. This little triangle. There we go. There we go. Okay. Double checking. Yep. I need to check those. I mean, these pieces all will fit together very well, but it won't, as I said, it won't always be perfect. You're going to have to sort of, like if you have a triangle that has an even number of warps, it will end like here with a double. And so a shape that ends with a single, you have to do a little fudging there, just a little to make things work. But you can't tell on the final piece. Trust me, it's gonna be fine. Okay, there we go. We've got a little diamond happening here. Yep, we're at 3. And we're gonna be at 1. Bam. There we go. We have our other triangle, and now we are going to make a diamond. This piece consists of a lot of diamonds. They are the predominant shape. So I'm going to just stick it in there. Wrap it around this warp twice. You got to be careful here because the tail will want to pull out. Okay, get that little, shove it down there and move over here. I get a lot of satisfaction. I love watching these shapes create themselves. Here we go. So we move 2 up. Now we're going to be, see, we are increasing. Get that right, Claudia. We are increasing. You can see why you have to build your decreasing shapes first. Yeah, they all just fall together. Something very satisfying about that. Don't come out. Stay there, please. Okay. Am I doing all right? Yep, I am. Now, I'm not going to go that far because I'm actually going to start decreasing. There we go. There's our little decrease. I love diamonds. They're so much fun. Do you have shapes, certain shapes that you like better than others? Push that down. Here we go. We should be at our last 5. Yep, where we are. Right on schedule here. Okay. That's 5. Now we've got 3. And we've got we're almost done. That's our last one. Boom, boom, boom. Wrap it around that twice. Push it down. We've got our little diamond. Now, you see here? These two are level. So it would be advisable to create a diamond there that starts with 2 and ends with 2. So that's how you fit these pieces together. When you see something like that, that happened here as well. There, you really probably want to start with 2. Whereas here, you want to start with 1. But you see how they all fit together nicely, and you can figure out as you go along what you need to do to make it perfect. Next, I want to show you how to make a pigtail. Pigtails are a lot of fun. Now, look, if I were going to start my weft like this, and as long as it's under the warp, it's in back, it's okay. But there will be scenarios, and they're not infrequent, and sometimes your piece will end and need this, where actually you are starting so that you are going in front of that. Now, if it happens internally, that can be okay because it'll be pressed against something else, and it will get shoved back in the middle somewhere. But this will not work. So what do? You take the end, you take it under the 2 there, see that? And then you push it down there. Again, that's called a pigtail because it looks like a pig's tail. You're going to be using this a lot. It's just the best way to deal with that scenario, or maybe the only way. So then when we get here, it'll get squished down under that, and it won't be pulling up. Okay? We've got a pigtail. Now you know. Although we'll only be using this technique in this piece once, it's called weaving in opposite directions. And in pieces where you don't have these diamond shapes and triangles, etc., you're probably going to be using this technique. I use it in most of my tapestries, just not in this one. You start off by inserting your wefts going in opposite directions. This one goes this way, this one goes this way. And if you had a third or, one here, it would be going toward it, same as that. And when you do this, I bubbled here. I bubbled here just to show you because they are spanning a little more territory than we have normally done in this piece. Okay, so here I go. Traveling off to my neighbors. Hi, neighbor. Oh, performance anxiety. All right. I keep bouncing things around here. All right, so you see how, because they start in opposite directions, I can move into the other guy's territory and be in the correct shed. And when you have a bunch of wefts going at the same time and they're all correctly in the, going in the right direction to each other, you can create some pretty fantastic things. So here we go. Done a little bit of bubbling, and then I'm gonna bam, 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 beat it down. Okay, and then I'll just show you one more time how that looks. Now I'm going into the red's territory. And then with this, you can do hatching and shading and all that, but that's not happening in this piece. This piece is all about separate shapes that don't have to go into each other's territory. But there you go. There you have it. Weaving in opposite directions. Now you know.